Hey there, my fellow shelter workers. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Project Zomboid Brandenburg Shelter. Episode 12, Moving Into the Shelter. Alright, time to make the return trip. Their overloaded van. There's still food downstairs? Yeah, it's fine. I don't have room for it. I put on a holster. I actually have 2 pistols. I'm just not wearing them. It would lower a little bit of carry weight if I wore them, but the difference between a kilo or 2 of loot, I don't care. I'm driving back. So the current priority right now is drop off all of the loot at the comm center. And then after we get to the comm center, I'll probably want to secure the area a little bit more by killing off the zombies that are closest to the community center so that I don't have zombies like breaking through the windows constantly. I know that they move around a bit. Before I start like barricading it up, I would really like to have a carpentry book read under my belt. Plus, on top of that, I already have, what carpentry tapes do I have? I have, Woodcraft 6 collected, so if I do read a carpentry book, I'll just watch Woodcraft 6, and then I'll have to read carpentry 2. So I'd like to start working on a carpentry level, because I'm not going to be able to secure the community center in any meaningful way without starting to level up carpentry. We're gonna have... Ooh, blood-curdling scream. Any power water short? Nope, we're keeping power and water for a few more days. At least. So all those perishables that were left in the fridge, like, I just didn't have weight for. And because I don't have a fridge on the second floor of the new place, I think what I'll aim to do is just, like, consume perishables and try to bring my weight up to, like, 84 kilos. And then go on a, like, our starvation diet. Intermittent fasting, if you will. Oh, what the hell? Drive unheaded. Dangerous. Oh, speaking of which, now that I parked right at the other van, let's mark that down. I've got a vehicle that is running there. I'm going to add a note. Van. Key. Gas. So the future me knows that there's a van on demand here. Not great condition, but good enough. And if I'm lucky... no, there's some zombies. I say if I'm lucky, there won't be a swarm waiting for me back here, because I am so encumbered I won't be able to fight. Well, actually, it doesn't look so bad. There's like a zombie. Come on, piss off. Because most of my carry was just like sledgehammer and bulletproof vest and carton of nails weighs a bajillion. Why did I unselect the other van? You know, I ought not to have. Let's put that marker back there. One thing I'd like to do, once I've moved and unloaded the van, is to set up sheet ropes around the roof of the low roof, so that I can take out the stairs and be completely safe where I'm sleeping. That sounds pretty good to me. So many books, so many magazines. I think for now I'm going to put the garbage bags here. Because if you put garbage bags on the floor and a big pile of loot, you're going to accidentally nest some loot into them. Which I don't want to do. There's going to be a lot of stuff in that one big pile. It's going to get messy really quick. So question for you guys. Should I find carpentry, or should I find books next? Yes or no? So my thinking is to try to get some carpentry level 1 under my belt. So that I can start breaking things down and barricading things with boosted experience plus watching that tape. But if I don't end up trying to find books next, for boosted experience gain rate, I could always take on other tasks, like trying to set up rain barrels, or trying to move storage, or something like that. Looks like I'm going to need a new claw hammer pretty soon, too. So my current one is beat the hell up. There is a, so as far as like an oven and fridge goes, that's not a concern of mine right now. Eventually we're going to want to set one up, but I don't, it's not like I'm about to starve or anything. It's pretty easy to just eat oats and whatever else there's available. Now there is a microwave in this location. I think that's it. This place just has a microwave. Ovens require electrical in order to move, but refrigerators don't. So the lack of a refrigerator is not really a big deal. We can always just move one. But I don't have any. I don't even have perishable food that would need it at the moment anyway. So as mentioned, I wanted to sheet rope some stuff up so that I can get up and down without using these stairs, so I'll end up sludging the stairs. So before I take on next task, we'll grab the sledge. And I'll set up a few more sheet ropes, just so that I, like, don't easily miss. And I'll probably, as I'm out and about on town, want to pick up as many sheet ropes as I can, just to, like, line this low roof with sheet ropes, so it's really easy to just go in and out of the base as needed. Pole's haunted? It's because McGibb there said no oven or fridge in this location, and the no counted as a no. Because if you type out the word, it also counts for voting. Do zombies still pull them down? They do. Which is why you want more than one. Because if you only have one sheet rope and they pull the one sheet rope that you rely upon down, well, then you need to, like, build stairs to get back up. Oh, you had no idea? Yeah, it's no fraud. It's no problem. Alright, so the new priority right now is to try to find carpentry. But we officially, I mean, it's not much to look at, but we officially have, like, a safe place to sleep because zombies can't get to this cot. There's no way for them to get up. And there's no alternative, I'll just show you. I'm sure there's no alternative stairwell up. So it's not like they can get up to the top roof some other way and then mess with me. Because this is the only way up. So that much is done. So unfortunately, this community center didn't have, like, a library or anything like that built into it, or, like, because some of them end up having, like, a playroom for children that have, like, bookshelves, and those bookshelves, for whatever reason, end up having, like, educational books. This one doesn't. But before I leave, let's go and mark this down as the shelter. That's home. So, current priority right now is to find more books. And the location around me, if you're wondering. So we're obviously at the community center. There is a lot of interesting buildings around me. So let's assume that, like, my character is familiar with the lay of the land. To my north, as you already know, is the medical center. I was trying to get there. Next to the medical center is a gas station. To my south, there's, like, a tornado shelter. There's a cafe, a police station, a post office, a church. If you're wondering, post offices are no longer good places to find books. They used to be, but is not true any longer. There is, roughly where that van was abandoned, that I have keys to. There's a gun store right at that intersection as well. There's a tool store just south of that. There's a dentist if you want, like, medicines. And then the bookstore near where that van is abandoned. So there is a... I'll try to start marking down locations so that you guys can see. We have a bookstore, I think, here. And... where's the gun symbol? The gun store is... I think here? And then we've got a medical building here. I think those are probably the important ones. And then a tool store. Tool store is going to be, like, here. So that's what we're looking at. I'm not going to worry about pulling a generator over to the community center. Because, one, we haven't had a warning that we're losing power anytime soon. And then, two, I don't have a way to hook it up. So I'm only going to really worry about the generator and hooking generators up when it becomes relevant to survival. So let's get back up to the main road and try to clear our way to where that van was, where we have the keys, and then also that intersection that we'll have the bookstore, the gun store. hardware store, etc. Are there supermarkets and malls? Yeah. I mean, I think every small town in Project Zomboid has like some sort of supermarket. It's a bit farther away. There's also a school to the southwest, a little bit farther away, and then there is there's like a whole shopping plaza over this way with a lot of stores, but it's probably going to be crawling, I'd imagine, which is why it wouldn't be good to rely upon for food. But and then there's a restaurant in the town square, and then next to the medical center up here, this is actually a diner. And then there's a prison, which is up like over here. So slowly we'll map out the town as we explore it. But there's a lot of opportunity to get a lot of loot, is I guess my point. In the worst case scenario, we can always leave town. You know, this isn't like my King of Louisville series where I have to be in Louisville. I can leave Brandenburg if I want. I've obviously already been to Echo Creek and Riverside. Wait, I swear to God that other zombie was on the outside. Right? Wasn't this zombie on the other side? Wait, what side of the fence? Okay, you are on both. I don't know what's going on. He's clipping through the fence. Yeah, Brandenburg's really nice because it's also on the water. This community center has like an unlimited source of water within it on the pool in case I don't get plumbing going early on. It's fairly close to Riverside, which is a larger city with a lot of loot. And then now that there's so many more new cities in Project Zomboid, you're never that far from adjacent cities. Because before Build 42, you know, if you were in, I don't know, like Rosewood, getting to the next closest city was a bit of a haul, but that's not the case anymore. Wow, my old van is already surrounded by zombies. Maybe I won't get as far as I thought I would. Devs put a lot of work in? Yeah, they sure did. This build has a lot of really awesome world building and features and lore. You've got quite a lot of love thrown into it. I think it was my 2 cents. It was over ambitious, and there's too many moving parts, which sounds like a weird critique, but I feel like the map expansion should have been build 42, and then build 43 should have introduced animals or something like that. Because what they ended up doing is they shoved so much content into one build that it took a very, very, very long time to release, and then there was like a lot of problems, and still are problems with it. I feel like this build is just too big for its own good. I mean, once they finally remove all the bugs, it will be a lot more playable, but I feel like this build suffered from feature creep in a big way. Well, let's take a breather. It's already kind of late in the day. I haven't gotten very far. So as far as the skill books I've read all of Electrical 1. I'm in the process of reading Maintenance 1. And that's it. Gotten a whole lot of long blunt skill. Just because we've bashed almost 200 zombies now. I swore I heard a zombie. Just paranoia seeping in. So opening up the map, I'm only like 2 blocks from where I want to be, or 2.5 blocks, but I suspect it's going to be a zombie-filled 2 blocks. One thing, ooh, more caffeine pills. One thing they did do, which is worth mentioning, is there was like a huge nerf to zombie numbers in this build as well. Which is not, I haven't seen pointed out a lot. The total number of zombies in the world is a lot lower in build 42 than it was previously, which I think is probably a good thing. And the urban focus settings work a bit better, so that there is truly urban focus, because there was, before this build, there were some like super rural buildings that were completely swarmed by zombies, which made no sense. You know, you wouldn't have like a random cabin in the woods with like 1,000 zombies around it. Exaggeration, but you get what I'm saying. So there's been a real fix to the zombie distribution in this build, which is nice. I wouldn't say it's perfect, because you do have times where it makes no sense that there'd be like a big clump of zombies on the highway in the middle of 2 miles out from any nearby town. Right? Like, does make sense, but it's getting closer to sensible. Maybe I'll put it that way. This is a house for sale, so it should be pretty empty, but I just wanted to top up my water. Yeah, hotel room with 35 zombies in it. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. The distribution is a little weird, and I'm sure the code that controls the distribution is doing a lot of heavy lifting, so it's not, you know, it's hard to get perfect. But there's definitely been cases where it's like a random cabin in the woods and there's like 45 zombies surrounding it. It's like, no. Unless they're all in like wedding attire, it doesn't make any sense. Or some sort of like event or something, I don't know. Alright, we are just like 1 block up from where we want to be. I ought to leave these extra caffeine pills in the glove box. Sounds like a good idea. You know, it's gameplay, the lack of cars versus zombies, but what do they do all walk in? Yeah, the world isn't populated in a realistic way. For sure. I mean, one could argue maybe the zombies that are here are the ones that couldn't escape and everyone else drove away, but I think it's unrealistic to say that there would be... Like, in every zombie movie I've ever seen, I feel like it depicts it relatively reasonably, where, like, when you have mass panic, you have a bunch of cars slamming into one another, and, like, nobody's able to get out of town because everyone's, like, a panicky little idiot that, like, gets in car accidents and blocks the roads. And I feel like that's probably would be true. So the idea that, like, everyone managed to drive out of town minus, like, you know, the 5 vehicles that are left in a village doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense. Yo, stop targeting the wrong thing. Yeah, there are some zones on the highways that are like defaulted to have a bunch of wrecked cars, but I don't think it's anywhere close to what it would be like IRL. With that said, I also think that for making creative control decisions based upon game balance is just as important. I feel like some games, and Project Zomboid is definitely one of these games that I'm referring to, tries to occasionally be too realistic to the point where it becomes not fun. You know, when games strive to realism and introduce so many survival mechanics that it's like a chore to do anything, I think it's a detriment to the game itself. And I think Project Zomboid teeter-totters on that pretty regularly. Where everyday survival becomes so much of like a chore from each patch that the game becomes less fun. So as much as like it makes very little sense that, wait, where'd all the cars go? You know, there should be more cars around. I can get behind that. I also worry for Project Zomboid because if they keep introducing survival mechanics that are hard to master, they're going to inevitably design a game that is hard to play. And I definitely can think of some games like that. So like recently I played Astronauts, and I actually really enjoy Astronauts, but one could easily make the argument survival on a day-to-day basis is too tough. And like a really good game, I would say, to compare to it would be Stationeers. I played Stationeers a while back, and Stationeers is a game where you like build bases on like the moon or Venus or whatever. But the problem the Stationeers had is it was so complex that the barrier to entry for the average player was the learning curve was so steep that it was like unplayable for most people. Like it just seemed so monolithic to try to learn that I think it deterred people from playing because the learning curve was just terrible. And I mean, I've been playing Project Zomboid on and off for like a decade now, so I'm used to Project Zomboid, but I feel like for the average player who like wants to get into it, it's getting to a point where, especially with the new crafting system and leveling system, it's getting to the point where like for a new player, this game is probably a very negative experience to first learn. Like, I can't imagine being brand new to Project Zomboid and going, oh man, this is a lot of fun, getting murdered after 10 minutes every time I play. You know, so that's the worry I have for Project Zomboid is it's heading in a direction that it will be less attractive for new players. And each patch seems to be making it worse, not better. Just my 2 cents. Takes less than 10 minutes to down your first run? Yeah, but you know what I mean. You know? I feel like there needs to be a more gentle learning curve. Because as it is now, the learning curve is bad, and it was already bad enough, like looking at my PC tracker, it was already bad enough trying to keep all the like standard tools in build 41 that you should pick up, all these ones here in this section. That was hard enough, but now with the new crafting systems, like that list has like tripled. And I guess that's my worry is it is so confounding to try to figure out, okay, so I want I want an axe and I need to make one. What do I need to make one? And then I look at the crafting screen, I'm like, okay, so I want an axe. Where is that? How do I make an axe? Search recipe, axe. Okay, so if I want a large stone axe, I need masonry 6? You know how long it's going to take to get Masonry 6? Like in every other open world survival craft game, if you want like a stone axe, you make that in the first 10 minutes. In Project Zomboid, you're making that bad boy like day 60, right? That's the worry I have, is like some of this stuff is so ridiculously complex that it's just going to put off new players. And it seems to be a trend where it's only getting more complex with each patch. And I guess that's my worry, is they're eventually going to get to a point where it's like, oh, you want to play Project Zomboid? Well, PhD required. You're like, well, I don't have that kind of time to invest in learning a game. So, I'll play something else. Well, my brain doesn't have to explode learning. Although, with that said, they did fix gunplay. The gun mechanics in Build 41 were pretty bad, and they did fix a lot of the problems that I had with guns in Build 42. Whereas in Build 41, like, you missed shooting all the time, and it was not based upon your own aiming. It was, like, random chance, and it was pretty unrewarding. So now, the game allows you to actually shoot things at low level, and they're like glancing blows, but at least you feel like you're actually hitting something. And the actual mechanics of like aiming and shooting are a little bit more intuitive. So they did make improvements to that, which I commend them for. All right, let's see if I can't clear one more cluster before heading back. So as far as the houses go, I'm only like 2-3 buildings up from where I want to be. It's just I'm getting closer to the town square, the town center, so the zombie population and density just keeps going up and up and up. Because this building right there is like the building that shares the wall with where the van is parked. Although I must say that this garage is calling to me. This garage looks like it could have something fun. Let's check. Oh, damn. Alright, it's a machine shop full of... What's on the floor there? I have a sledgehammer, so I can get in here no problem. Well, that and I can just... I like how they have barred windows, but like with a claw hammer, I can just be like, alright, I'm inside. Propane tanks, screwdrivers. I did want a new claw hammer, because mine is like fully falling apart. What is this? It's just... Oh, damaged fencing. Okay. Palpine. I wanted a standard one. Really? There's no claw hammer in this entire place? Okay, fine, whatever. Ooh, no. Well, seeing that I'm nearly out of time and that... Oh, no, not the wall clock. I picked the wall clock up anyway. Dang it. You know, I should be able to dismantle a wall clock in my inventory rather than have to place it on the wall to dismantle it. Woohoo! Electrical one! I was gonna bring the mini fridge back to my base just because it's, like, not too heavy and I know... I don't have a means to keep food fresh or frozen back at base. So we'll take the ball peen as a replacement hammer, because I think it still counts as a hammer. I can still use it if my hammer breaks. Some of the hammers will say is like too unwieldy to drive a nail or whatever. And let's get back. Where'd I park? So in this case, I searched the whole area, but I really didn't loot everything that there was to offer, so I'm not going to mark it off as looted. Because I'm sure there's like plenty of loot left in this machine shop, so I'm going to mark it down as a machine shop. So that I know to return there at some point. To strip it of its loot. All right, Debbie. Let's get back to the comm center. Overshot it. Actually, is this... I should be able to get there from here, but there's a fence. So I'll have to drive down to the break of the fence. I've never driven to the comm center this way. This is probably... I should turn around. No need to dig the hole deeper. That fence is probably doing a lot of heavy lifting, keeping the zombies out from wandering around this field too. So I bet, but I bet that fence has been quite an ally. Another thing I might want to do is to install some more lights around this sheet rope so that the area in which I park is like better illuminated, so nothing could be easily hiding. But here we are, home sweet home. Oh, my burgers are already stale. Damn. With my lovely organization. I should probably put a sheet rope here so I can climb down. Because not being able to climb to the first floor from up here is kind of annoying. So let's pull this escape rope and replace it. There we go. I mean, there's a slight risk, and I don't know what I'm climbing down to until I'm down, but as long as this facility doesn't get overrun, it should be fine. Alright, let's go ahead and fill up the canteens. So I still have water. Running power, obviously. We would have noticed the power if I didn't have that already. I don't really want to dismantle, if you're wondering about, like, treadmills and things like that. I don't want to dismantle any of the things within this facility. I want to leave this facility relatively intact and not salvage it for experience. How did you get inside? Come on. No, don't break the door. Okay, before those... Oh, shoot. I still have a lot more he saw me. Let's try to kill him nice and quiet. No, don't keep coming. I am so tired. Okay, the ones in the lot somehow didn't hear me. I guess they're not the keen sense zombies, which is good. So before this gets any worse, let's prepare to turn in for the night. I mean, it is 1:30 in the morning. Oh, someone's breaking my back door. Well, alright. We'll have a dead body moved tomorrow. There we go. As security as we're going to be. And this, friends, is where I am going to leave off for this stream. Thank you for tuning in to Project Zomboid Brandenburg Shelter, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow survivors.